All right. Hello and welcome to the GovCon podcast. Today we're going to be going over what I think is going to be kind of an interesting development. We've seen this already, but the cost versus effectiveness of drone warfare. So it's something that's come up more and more.
Topic.
I used to work on the Patriot system, and that system, costs about $4 million per missile. So when you fire, $4 million is, gone.
Hmm.
But it's highly effective. So as things have progressed, I think we first really saw this in the Ukraine, and now we're seeing this just full blown in Iran right now. So Iran, pretty much nothing's really working from them, is what I've kind of seen. But their low cost drone, they call it the Shehead 136
Shaheed.
or something like that,
Yeah, the Shaheed. Yeah.
costs 20K per drone. It's a long range. They have an estimated range like 400, 600 miles, something like that. Um, and now our defense secretary has said that 96% of them are getting shot down, only 4% are hitting their target, that sort of thing. But even then, it's just such a crazy volume that you're able to do. And during the Ukraine conflict, Iran was actually selling them to Russia, and now they're using them themselves. But one thing that I think is kind of interesting is one, we basically saw that design and took it and have made our own version now. So there's a company out in Arizona who built the Lucas, and it stands for something, long range unmanned something aerial, something. But it's essentially a complete ripoff of that. But it's $40,000. So even then, it's not what I would necessarily consider like low cost. But I just wonder in this space, we're going to see more and more drone warfare is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. If anything, it's just growing more and more and more. But I
Yeah.
wonder, defending against these, I think is going to become such a huge deal. And not just from a government contracting standpoint, but even as like if I'm the security detail for some, resort in Abu Dhabi or something like that, I'm going to want some sort of security against drones, which I think was kind of a foreign concept recently that I think we're now seeing more and more because these drones, they're really not targeting anything crazy. Like from what I've seen and from the reviews, or not reviews, but the stuff I've seen online, they're hitting like random buildings, hotels, just
Hmm.
random airport spots. And so I don't know. Do you think that there's going to be more and more opportunity for companies to step in and go, yeah, we offer defense for drones and that sort of thing for an airport and that sort of thing?
Dude, I mean, that whole situation, this is not new. This has been going on for a long time. And we've been in and around it for 7 years, 8 years. Uh, we make a drone. We made several drones, and one of the ones, we make one now that has no RF. You can't, you can't, jam a drone that doesn't have RF. It's, you know what I mean? If it's going to get
Yeah.
there, it's going to get there. If there's no signal to block, you can't, you're not going to stop it. So now we're having to look at, some of the, let's think Wild Wild West ways, shooting a net at the drone. Well, that only works if you can get close enough to it.
Right.
Um, they have deployed eagles to hunt drones because they have great vision and all that. It's real. Like there's eagles hunting
Wild.
drones right now. Yes. But the eagles can get hurt by carbon fiber props spinning, 3,000 times per minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're down to either really stupid high tech to stop a drone or old school shoot it out the sky. So now you have to have something that hunts drones for you and shoots them down. But yeah, I mean, we are in a conversation where people need to look at, perfect example, the Air Force now. We were on a call with them. They're like, hey, we need a drone to look at who's approaching nuclear sites. That's on the ground. What about in the
Yeah.
air?
Yeah.
You got to have a way you got to have a way to stop these things before they get to you without RF. I mean, dude, I just had a meeting with a company who they navigate using magnetic waves on the ground. They don't even use satellite. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
quantum enhanced GPS. It's magnets. They use the magnetic forces on the Earth, um, on people's devices, ships, cars, whatever, to map and tell the aircraft where it is. So yeah, it's a different conversation about drone protection because it also means that the U.S. is in range. You know,
Yeah.
from Mexico, from Canada, from near Alaska, and you can mask a lot of these approaches. You don't need an aircraft carrier now to launch 5,000 drones.
Right.
A
Yeah.
fishing boat can do it. So yeah, yeah, different
Well, I
conversation.
think it's one of
Absolutely.
those things it's so, before it was like if I was going to shoot a missile at you, we have a missile to shoot it down. It's so labor intensive and it takes so much strategy in order to position that missile and all that sort of stuff to get it within range, to pick your target, to all that sort of stuff. Versus now it's like, I mean, we're almost at the level it's like you need a backpack and 4 drones in there and you can go deploy that in a target. It
With
takes such.
Google Maps, man, a
Yeah,
backpack, 4 drones. Yes, you are pinpointing some stuff. Yes.
right. So that's why I'm just like, I think that the conversation isn't necessarily about the effectiveness of drones, because whether the secretary is right, you're shooting down 97, right? 97%. It's like there's still 3% that are getting in, and what are they hitting, and that sort of thing. And so I think the conversation, and how much are you spending? How much um, you know, war dollars are you spending to stop 97%? And how long can you keep that going, right? Because the cost to build a, 120,000 drones versus a Patriot missile, which is 4 million per shot, it doesn't add up. It's never going to work out. So it's like there has to be completely new thinking behind how do we stop something like this, especially too, in previous, when we did training exercises, you had 3 or 4 targets, maybe something like that. Now you could do more, but like that's typical, right? Well, now we're talking about drones where it's like you might have 40 to 50 and salvos of these things. How do you stop that?
Well,
And
think
it's
about
like,
this. Now, you're not shooting Hawk missiles after drones anymore. You're not
right.
going to shoot a missile that's several $100,000 to take down a drone, and it's too big. Now you need a bunch of really tiny missiles that are cheap and can go out and hunt drones. I mean, it's a changing, it's an extremely rapidly changing landscape. Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think that there's opportunity for smaller companies to get in? Because I mean, for me, like I think it's not just shooting them down. Because I know like Anduril right now is big on that, where they have the Roadrunner, where it
Hmm.
is an actual kinetic drone. It flies up and just rams it. That's their strategy. Um,
Yeah,
which
I
I
got a
guess
call
is definitely
yesterday.
do what?
I got a call yesterday. We're getting some visitors here to Huntsville, and they're like, "We need help making drones." Great. They got plenty of money. They got plenty of war to fight. They need help making drones. It's a great time to be in the space. It's not just making the drone, but it's the motors, the props, doing the composite work, carbon fiber work, making circuit boards here in the U.S. I pay good money for somebody that makes circuit boards to
Yeah,
come to the table
yeah,
and help design custom boards, cameras, FPV modules. The drone is, the end product is probably the smallest part of it. The wings and all that, that's baby stuff. That's nothing.
yeah.
It's all the other stuff that goes into it. I mean, it's a great time to be in a small business. Yeah, huge, amazing time to be in it.
Well, then, like you were saying, there's so many components to it as well. And one of the big ones I think is actually the bigger issue is just being able to detect and spot drones. Like
Hmm.
that is such a difficult thing to do effectively.
It's not
Um,
hard. It's not hard. It just costs a lot of money.
well, yeah, I guess that's true. There's always a price tag attached to it.
I mean, the Air
So
Force has a way to do it. It's just when you launch an air stack, when you put King Airs in the air at 20,000 feet, and you're putting P3s in the air, 30,000 feet, and you're putting, you know, let's call them the new U-2. You know what I mean? If you're putting the stack in the air and you have fighter jets and all that, you're burning a lot of gas, a lot of parts, a lot of maintenance, and you can't put it all over the country. You're having to put this over certain areas, which is why the Golden Dome is coming online, is to look for this stuff before it gets too close. Um, that's kind of the thing. Is a plastic drone, you're probably not going to see it. I do know who can see it, and that's the people I was talking to that use
Yeah.
they measure magnetic energy, because no matter what you do, you're going to have electronics on a drone. It's going to have some kind of
Yeah.
magnetic field, but you can only see
Interesting.
so far. So now you might need to have it over your city. You know, might have a
Yeah.
Golden Dome for Huntsville, a Golden Dome for Hoover, a Golden Dome for Birmingham. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just expensive. That's all, but it's definitely doable.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at though, is I wonder like how how expensive is it? What is it covering? Like that sort of thing. Again, you can kind of going back to the earlier point, you can shoot a Patriot missile at something and it's probably going to hit it down, right? But are you willing to spend $4 million every time they launch a
Every
$20,000 drone at you?
Yeah, you're not going to do it.
Right.
So a small business right now that could come in and say, I have a missile for $10,000 that is as precise as Patriot, as precise as NASAM, as precise as Hawk. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hit to miss type missile. You know what I mean? That is there is an opportunity. I'm going to say that. Here's the deal, though. You got to have your explosive license. You got to have the ability to launch and to test. You got to have facilities. Not many small companies have that kind of capability.
Yeah.
But it's a great time to have it, not just for the U.S. You can sell this stuff around the world.
Yeah.
So obviously, we're
Well, again,
making
that's
something.
like to me, I think it goes back to I forget the name of it, but it's the you're an Air Force guy, so you should know what this is. The it deploys off the C-130s, and it's like the burning hot coal that shoots out and distracts the missile. I forget the name. There's a name for it.
Flare,
Yeah, oh, yeah,
flare.
essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
But something like that, because I know they put them on like tanks and stuff like that too, where they just mount a box
Mhm.
to it and they can, shoot out five at a time or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you would want something like that, like something small and compact that you could just start putting on all sorts of stuff and just get it all over the place. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to have to be, because like you said, it's just there's too much land mass, there's way too much to cover. And again, even with something like the Patriot, it has a extremely narrow effective range, essentially from you basically have to say, hey, what areas do we want to cover, and then set out
Yeah.
your radars and everything like that accordingly.
Right.
And it really is not that broad. I mean, there's so much that is out there to cover, but you can only do so much at a time.
Hmm.
So again, when we're talking about these small drones that cost us nothing to fire, it's like you'd have to have this on every single building, and just like, and it'd have to be low cost. It'd have to be like essentially you'd be selling it like a security system with cameras and that sort of thing. Like that's the type of cost you'd be looking at to make it effective.
Yeah. And would it still be effective? Who knows? Because if you run out and you got to try to reload it, and you get hit.
Right.
I mean, I think it's one of those things that now we're having to look at. You got two options here. You got either people in the U.S. are going to launch them against the U.S., or we're going to have to start guarding the ocean and looking upward from the ocean. I will say the satellites we have are pretty powerful. They can see a lot, but 1,500 drones. I don't care if you can see them or not. How do you stop 1,500? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's that's a very doable number for
Right.
Chinese, for whoever. I'm not really worried about Iran, Iran, or whatever people say. That's not the issue. I think about the people in the U.S. that are already here, that
Yeah.
having to stop them, from launching 1,500 drones, because you can make them at home. They're not
Yeah.
It's not complicated, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah, it's an interesting time to be alive because I think I saw a clip the other day of like basically a Tesla bot that China had kind of ripped off or whatever, and it's like
Mhm.
a military soldier looking bot or whatever, and it's like, yeah, I guess that'd be cool or whatever, I don't know, but I'm like, the pressing issue is why spend 4 or 5 grand on this humanoid robot that's pretty limited on what it can do
Yeah.
versus like we were saying in that case, maybe a $200, $300, $400 drone can go anywhere, and be extremely effective.
Right. Right. I'm kind of like, I had a call the other day from somebody, who knows stuff. And they're like, look, we're going to have a drone war first, and then we're going to have a cleanup war. And whoever can clean up the most space is going to own the most space. You know what I mean? Whoever
Yeah,
brings the most aid in, gets the most debris out, yada, yada, yada. That's, if you look at Ukraine right now, one of their issues environmentally is fiber optic cable.
yeah,
You got cheap drones, yes, you got all, it's great, fine. But you created this other problem, which is now you can't walk, drive, go anywhere without getting caught in fiber optic cable.
yeah.
Like that's the other war, drones and then cleanup. Uh, that's where really what I see the future being is cheap drones doing a lot of damage, and then eventually I think people are going to try to figure out how to, like, does it make sense to keep going? Does it make sense to keep funding this kind of stuff, or do we just go nuclear and end it all? You know what I mean? But the drone war is going to be a thing. It's going to be a real thing.
I mean, I think we're seeing it right now. I mean,
Hmm.
Iran's been launching drones at us. We build a copycat version, launch back at them. It's like that just
Yeah.
seems to be how we're playing the game now. So
The Navy
I think
has
we're
drones
very,
pointed at China. They said they can
yeah,
launch 1,500 at any point into China. That's a lot of drones, and they're
yeah,
buying 2 million drones in the next few years.
yeah.
Oh yeah, like this is it's gonna get weird. But I got a question for you. Do you think hackers are going to be the ones that actually turn the war?
In Iran,
In general, you think
I
hackers
think
will
there's a
can start controlling
strong.
systems?
I mean, yeah, I think that we're going to see that more and more because, I mean, on the last part, we kind of talked about how someone used Claude code to break into Mexico's all their
Right,
information, right?
right.
Which, no offense to Mexico, but it's kind of like, who really cares? Cartel probably have all that anyway. Um,
It's a deal. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think we're going to see that more and more. I think that's why the U.S. is pushing so hard on the AI stuff from a government perspective. Is
Hmm.
that if you're in a position of power in the government, I don't see how you can't see the writing on the wall with that. If you can have the only thing to stop an AI, in my opinion, is going to be another AI fighting it. So I think that we're going to see that more and more. So potentially,
Yeah. Did you see the article about there's a story now about people who live near these data centers that are running the big AI models. Their water pressure is so low, they can't take showers, they can't
yeah.
cook, can't flush toilets. I mean, there's another part of this. You know what I mean? If we fight this kind of war, which we probably shouldn't be involved in the first place, the cost to Americans, what's the cost to Americans? Um, it's going to be high. I mean, to make
But
drones at scale.
people, I don't think the U.S. I think people are complaining about the water, and which is obviously like that's tough. You might feel that a little bit, but wait till the energy cost hits.
Right.
And that's when I think the average American is going to go, holy crap, like my energy bill doubled in, whatever that short a year or something like that. And it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, I think we're going to see that more and more and more. And if we can't fix the energy crisis that we are already in or coming for, it's going to get brutal for the average American. Because
Yeah.
if you're an American, you are in the AI race. You might not know it, but you're in it 100%. Regardless of
Yeah.
how
Of
you feel
course.
about it, the energy demand for this is just through the roof. And you are paying for it. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
100%. Yeah. And that's something that people really aren't talking about is, the true cost of war is not will a drone hit you? The true cost of war is, do we have enough energy to keep farming and fighting the
yeah,
war? Do we have enough energy to keep flying and fighting the war? Do we have enough energy to keep schools open? You know what I mean? Do we have enough energy to keep Americans, able to pay their bills and have we explored alternative energy? We killed fossil fuels. Now what? It's a big good time to have coal burning stoves going into wintertime. You know what I mean?
yeah,
There's a lot. Are we driving too many cars? Do we need to probably shut down some of the car driving and increase the public transportation? You know what I mean?
yeah,
There's a lot of stuff that's not being considered in the cost of an AI machine learning high tech war that is full of, man, it's just drones and circuit boards on drones, and you know what I mean. It's just
yeah,
that's what we're paying for.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Dude. I'm trying to figure out. My wife and I were just talking about let's go ahead and go to the farm. Let's start growing our stuff. Let's
Yeah,
start growing the vegetables. Grow it. You know what I mean? Let's go ahead and
yeah.
get it done so we can walk through this pleasantly. And hey, let me ask you a question though. What do you think about individuals having guns so they can shoot drones out of the sky that fly, over their houses or over their cities?
I mean, I would say that if a drone is on your property, then I'm a big, big, big proponent of private property.
Can't shoot a drone out of the
So
sky then. If it's in the U.S., you can't shoot it. And I mean, unless you know it's an enemy drone. But you know, how do you know?
I would say at my farm, like it's my farm. So that's my airspace. If I see
You're
a
going to
hawk
jail.
going after
Yeah,
chickens and I see a drone flying, yeah, I'd shoot it down. So
yeah,
I would just say,
yeah.
yeah, I have a lot of chickens and I thought it was a hawk, you know? But no, I mean, in all seriousness, yeah, I mean, I think as far as like, can you do it for sure? Uh, enough buckshot will solve that problem. As far as like the legality of it, yeah, I mean, I have no clue. I mean,
Mm.
I've flown, drones and that sort of thing, and I know that like, if you have your 107, you have to be really particular about where you fly and that sort of thing. But yeah, you're kind of right. I mean, you can kind of fly it wherever you want, really.
Hmm.
Uh, but no, if it was out on the farm, that's free reign. So,
Yeah. Do you think the drones are a passing thing, or are they going to be here in some role forever?
oh, they're yeah, here to stay for sure, for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like talking about farming, like they already have drones for farming. They're using drones for
Yeah.
like
Okay.
pesticides, for that sort of stuff. When I was
Yeah.
in New Zealand, they sprayed all the chemicals with, and I guess this is not true. They did some with drones, but a large majority of it was helicopters. They literally have a truckload come in. I forget what they were spraying. It's the stuff that like makes the grass grow well or whatever, nitrogen. And
Mm.
they had a big old 18 wheeler pull up on the farm, and they had a helicopter come. They have a huge hopper that just loads up the helicopter, and then they fly it and just spray it everywhere.
Wow.
Really fascinating. So yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, so they're here to stay. And so
for
from
sure.
business standpoint, then this is something that people need to be looking at then pretty hard.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, it's definitely a lot of money in it. Like I said, we've got our own our own for step into it, and
Yeah.
it's worth a lot of money, worth a
Do you think
buttload
that
of
there's
money.
going to be more opportunity in defending against drones or in creating new ones? Because I feel like the Reaper drone's been around for a while, and the U.S. kind of has drones that work as far as offensive, but defense is where I see the biggest weakness. What are your thoughts?
I don't know, man. Defensive. You got to start looking at like, can you sell to people other than the federal government? Yeah, there's
Hmm.
opportunity as so if one city in the U.S. gets touched, you're gonna have a lot of cities go, we got to find a way to protect. You know what I mean? Uh, and I don't think we have the right solutions yet that are affordable. on like a municipal level or state level,
Hmm.
really defend against drones. I don't. They're not there yet. I just don't see it. And the IP that's probably stored somewhere at NASA or Army or Air Force, we don't have it. So I do think if we look at World War II, man, they had drones have been out forever, and not just the Reapers and Predators, but they've been out since World War II. World War II, taking pictures, doing stuff like that. They were hard to stop then. They'll be hard to stop now. I do think though, it's time for companies to say, "Hey, I have a solution. Let's
Yeah.
take a look at it." But unfortunately, it's going to take somebody to get hit for somebody to go, "Okay, I'll listen." You know,
You
we
think
have
that'll
a
be the
great.
next step? You think a U.S. city is going to get hit, and then they're going to go, okay, yeah, now this is a real problem. We really have to solve this.
Yeah, well, for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, either a prison will be hit or a city will be hit. Something will be hit that somebody's going to go, all right, we got to fix this. Or even infrastructure. But hey, let's be careful now. Drones are drones. They don't just fly. You have undersea drones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have overland drones. You have surface drones. You know what I mean? There's a lot out
Yeah.
there right now. So
Yeah.
let's say a submarine, a drone that is like an undersea drone goes and hits a fiber pipeline. It can cut off all communication to to Europe.
Yeah.
In mass. You know what I mean? We're having the whole scale is what our government's really digging into, and small businesses should be definitely like paying attention, going, how do I get in? How do I help? How do I make money? Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I think we've been, like you said, we've been seeing this for a while. This is not new, but
Mm-mm.
the urgency is now really started to kick in for a lot of people, if it hasn't already. And it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds over the next, I would say, over just the end of 2026. I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see, because I think you're going to see companies coming out and exploring those opportunities that are definitely there. So, but it's a
Mm.
complicated problem.
It definitely is, and people got to pay attention, man. Don't watch the news. Don't watch the news. You gotta look at it's a great time to look at metal prices, gold, silver. That will tell you more about what's happening in the war than anything else. Is
Yeah,
metal. Metal. If the prices go up, volume's going up, something's happening. History will tell you a lot about this war, but the news won't tell you crap. Small business got to start looking at the numbers. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Got to look at the numbers. So,
interesting.
mm-hmm.
Well, cool. Well, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, man, I
Um,
enjoyed it.
yeah, this was a good one. So I'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.